I remember I had slept in late because I was starting a new job that day. I was starting a new career working for General Motors. And I woke up, got my coffee, walked around the house a little bit, and turned on the TV, and immediately I saw the first tower and the smoke coming from it. And I sat there for a while watching it, and I was almost in disbelief. You know, I had seen the reports that a plane had hit, but my brain hadn't really figured out exactly what had occurred. And while I was trying to process everything, I watched in real time as the second plane hit the second tower. And I almost went numb. It wasn't a fear or a shock or an anger so much as just a numbness, because I've never experienced in my life anything like that. I don't think any of us ever will experience anything like that ever again. And through the rest of the day, I kind of walked around in a fog, trying to make sense of it, trying to ask myself questions like, okay, who do we go to war with? Who do we hold responsible for this? What do we do to prevent something like this from happening again? What happens if other planes hit other things? What happens if there's a bombing on a train? What happens if a man with a gun walks into a mall? And while I tried to process all of this, I remember I was driving to work in Tampa, Florida, and I stopped by a convenience store to pick up a Gatorade before I went into work. And I remember that all the doors were open in this convenience store. Everything was wide open, even the back and the little stock room. Everything was wide open. And there was music coming from a boombox, and it was God Bless America, and it was played real loud. And it was a gentleman behind the counter, and he was a Middle Eastern gentleman. I don't know what country he was from. He's Middle Eastern. And he had this look of fear, and he had American flags everywhere. And he looked like he was trying really hard to say, hey, I'm sorry that I look the way I do, or that somebody who looks the way I do flew a plane into the World Trade Center, but please don't take it out on me. And I just remember feeling so sorry for that guy, thinking to myself, what if somebody that looked like me did something horrible? How would I feel about that? And I've always tried to remember as we go to war in Afghanistan or Iraq, or even nowadays with Libya or, God forbid, Syria next, we have to keep in mind that the enemies of this country and the enemies that we find in this world are just a small population, and the rest of the people, they have to live with these situations, and it can be very difficult, and it's very difficult to remember even 10 years later as we think back to the tragedies of that day.